We have 43 days left in the year 2025. Let's cherish every moment.
Yes.
Today, I have two calling guests. First, let me welcome all to At the Table with Crucian Educator. This is yours truly, Rudell Peterson. And there's an event coming up this weekend. So hopefully you have a calling guest. We have various events happening, and I like to keep you updated. My mission and passion is to educate, enlighten, and inspire minds. And this event has to do with the Palestinian Friendship Day. So I hope to get that call to fill you in more on the details. This is a call-in show. I focus on certain topics, avoid certain topics such as conspiracy theories, political ideologies, religion, mythology, and sports. I like to focus on the culture, history, and heritage of the Virgin Islands of the United States, our government, constitutional development, civic education, political status, and other matters relating to the political, historical, educational, cultural, and social affairs of the Virgin Islands of the United States. Therefore, if you wish to call in at the end, if time permits, the numbers are 340-773-0390 and 340-773-0490. Or you can put your comments in regarding the topic that we discussed today on my Facebook page. This program is streamed live on Facebook, the WSTX page, as well as on my page. So, as I said, excuse me, I'm expecting a call in. Number two. Pleasant good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Cordell. How are you?
I feel blessed for another sunrise in paradise.
Thank God for that.
Okay, so tell us about this upcoming event. I would have liked to engage in a civic discourse with you because I believe in igniting unity and a sense of purpose as one community here in the Virgin Islands. And I know the Palestinian community is a presence here. The island of St. Croix, Santa Cruz, is nicknamed the land of seven flags, and we embrace diversity, and we have a rich history and culture, and you're part of that. And so you could elaborate on what is happening this Sunday, correct?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
This Sunday, November 23rd, at the Agriculture Theater Grounds, starting at noon till 6 p.m. We will be celebrating the Virgin Islands Palestinian Friendship Day, which and this would be the second year that we're doing the celebration since that day was established by the governor last year, and we have took it on ourselves to make sure that we celebrate this day every year, and we make sure that we have events and programs that bring the community together to celebrate the friendship and to have fun and to share the culture and the tradition
Well, I attended last year at the St. George Botanical Garden, and I think I met you. And
Yes,
I,
you did.
I must say it was an extraordinary cultural experience. We here, as I said, this is a diverse community. It's multicultural, and I was truly impressed. I was blown away with the presentation, the different displays, and the just in
Hopefully this
general,
year,
yeah,
yeah,
it will be better. I think I predict it will get
yeah,
better
yeah.
each year.
We hope to, this year that it will be more exciting, more fun, and we added a little bit more, and now this year we will have, local dance groups, and also we're gonna have a Palestinian group that's coming down from the States to perform the Dabka dance, which is one of our traditional dances, and
Yes.
hopefully they will engage the public, and everybody will get the chance to take a look and even participate.
And the admission is free, correct?
Admission is free. There will be also a lot of local vendors,
Uh-huh.
and we will have free food.
Okay.
There's going to be free food, along with the vendors that are there. We will also be offering free food, and we're going to take it on ourselves to hopefully do that every year.
Well, I recall the meal was absolutely delicious. I had a meal last year, and as it's Thanksgiving next Thursday, I think it's so appropriate at this time. But I want us to have a sense of purpose here. And could you say, why is it important that we have awareness of what's going on in Palestine and other areas of the Middle East? And how does it impact our way of life here?
Yeah, well, every in today's world, everything is interrelated, and also even when we look at it from a broader point, it's all about humanity wherever it is and wherever it takes place, and we all extend some way somehow from the same, and struggle from time to time to establish and to attain universal rights and human rights and civil rights, and a violation of anybody's rights, any place in the world is a violation of everybody's rights all over the world, because it starts one area, and it's like a domino effect, and then if we allow it to happen in some areas of the world, then eventually it will happen all over.
Well, I hope that message could reverberate here in this territory, because we need love and unity here and throughout the world, because we are human beings. And as you mentioned, there are human rights violation. We have certain universal laws. Human rights. Our human beings should be treated equally with love and respect. Every life is precious. So I would like to have you, if possible, if you can come the next Tuesday on my show, that will be following the event, and you could go more into this message about peace and
with God's
humanity.
with God's will, I will make it. I will put it on my schedule, and I will do my best to make it. I would love to be on your show, and these are topics that are very good to talk about and discuss, and kind of bring more to the table than what you hear on mainstream media, which is
Right.
a lot of times directed and manipulated, and does not send the clear and true picture across.
Absolutely. Because it's a story. And depending on who's telling the story, you have different perspectives.
Yes.
And I always say facts can be verified.
Yeah, that is correct. And the whole idea is, we will, we have, based on, what we understand from that part of the world, and what we live and what we see, we will try and put out a clear and true picture of what really takes place over in that side of the world.
Okay, thank you. So I look
You are
forward
most
to
welcome,
next
and
Tuesday.
please make sure this is an open invitation, but a special invitation for you and for your listening audience to please join us Sunday, and enjoy the friendship and cherish the friendship and build the friendship even further.
Thanks. Be blessed.
You're most welcome. All the best, mate. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Okay, there you have it. As I said, there's the Palestinian Virgin Islands Friendship Day celebration this coming Sunday. It will be held at the Agricultural Fairgrounds. And so pay attention. I will promote this even further on Facebook. If you have not yet become a member of Virgin Islands Affairs Forum, I welcome you to do so. Join. There you can, this is a Facebook group, a platform that you can immerse yourselves virtually in the political, historical, cultural, educational, and social affairs of the Virgin Islands of the United States, which is the official name for the U.S. Virgin Islands. It's the same territory. It's an unincorporated territory of the United States. Unfortunately, at this point, we do not have our own constitution like 3 other U.S. unincorporated territories. Our next closest U.S. neighbor, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, has its own constitution, and as well as the Northern Mariana Islands and American Samoa. However, Guam and the Virgin Islands of the United States are governed by a federal law, a public law. It's called the Revised Organic Act of 1954. So since 1954, the government, the US government, has had this document in place, which is a framework for our government. We have a Republican form of government, which means we have 3 branches. The first branch is the legislative branch, the executive branch, and the third branch is the judiciary branch. As you heard it, Governor Albert Bryan passed legislation into law to establish the Virgin Islands Palestinian Friendship Day celebration. The first time it was conducted or occurred was last year, and it was held at the St. George's Botanical Garden. This year will be held at the Agricultural Fairgrounds. We need to come together as one community. It's a diverse community, but we should embrace diversity. It's a reason for the nickname, the Land of Seven Flags, which refers to St. Croix, which is also nicknamed the Big Island, since it's the largest of the four main Virgin Islands that make up the US Virgin Islands. There are two Virgin Islands. You have the British Virgin Islands and you have the US Virgin Islands. We are governed by a document known as the Revised Organic Act of 1954. And we will continue to be governed by this document, which we cannot amend ourselves. Only Congress can amend it. But once we get our own constitution, we'll be able to put in amendments that reflect our culture, our identity as Virgin Islanders. And that has more to do with than just being born a natural born US citizen here in the territory. Because we have people of various backgrounds and cultures also living here and call the Virgin Islands of the United States their home. If you live here and you're part of this community, we should be one. Yes, we have different communities within the general society, but we are one, and we want to see a better Virgin Islands. And one way is through igniting unity and solidarity as one territory, one Virgin Islands, one love for everybody that reside here. I promote human rights. I promote civil rights. And one question that I ask, if you wish to become a member of Virgin Islands Affairs Forum, is, do you believe all American citizens should be treated equally, and why? Please, let's make sure that we do our part. Everybody cannot be an elected official. However, if you wish to have your voices registered, make sure you are registered to vote. That's how you make a difference. Your vote is your voice, and your voice is your vote. Complaining and wishing and contemplating and that it will be better. Change is not going to come unless you get involved. And I appreciate the Palestinian community getting involved and bridging the gap. We have more in common than differences. The fact is, we are here now, and we all can make a difference. But please participate in the process, be informed. Everybody's entitled to an opinion, a theory, a belief, an idea, but we're not entitled to our facts. Facts can be verified. However, we should not feel our speech is oppressed. I do have a call now, so let's go to the call. Listen, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. You are punctual. Right on the dot.
That's the best way to get here. The early one, right?
Yes, welcome. Okay, I have on the line my calling guest, Steve Lowe, and he will speak to you about a very important subject, and then I will be interviewing him. So continue.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Steve Lowe. I'm a certified financial planner here in the territory, and I'm the founder of Estate Shield VI. And Estate Shield VI is a tech-enabled company that helps everyday families get their affairs in order. And let me say get your affairs in order. That means putting things in place like wills, trusts, power of attorney, as well as your advanced medical directives. Now, these are things that we don't often talk about in our families, unfortunately, until it's too late. And when it's too late, our families are left dealing, in confusion and conflict, dealing with things like unprotected loved ones, assets that get squandered due to confusing and expensive court processes such as probate. Things that can be easily avoided if we take a little bit of time, put the right pieces of legal and financial protections in place, and then our families can navigate these inevitable transitions in life. Right? We all know what's going to come. None of us are going to be able to avoid it. However, we can plan for it. Right? And families that are able to plan for these inevitable, aspects of our lives are the ones who can accelerate from generation to generation. Whereas families who are not in a position to plan or fail to plan or choose not to plan, right, end up having to reverse course after progress has been made. So when we look around our territory and we see things like derelict buildings or we see abandoned properties, we see families struggling with probate matters. All of these things are the very simple reason why Estate Shield exists today. Now, even though we know that life and death has a certain season to it, even though we know that we need to put our affairs in order, a lot of times we don't, right? And the vast majority of us don't have these plans in order, and that's for a number of reasons. But one of the reasons is just not knowing, not knowing how important it is, not knowing what to do, not knowing who to call, not knowing what needs to be done. And we are passionate, in fact, obsessed about making sure that our people know what needs to be done, and have solutions, easily accessible solutions, affordable solutions to be able to help prepare their families for the inevitable. Right, and that's what Estate Shield is here to do. We offer an easy and intuitive online experience, which allows families to get their thoughts and get intentional about what you want to occur after you pass, or in the case of you become incapacitated, get that out of your head in a very easy step-by-step process. And then from there, you get connected with the pros. Right? We have a passionate and seasoned group of local professionals, whether it be financial advisors and legal professionals, to make sure that our families are well taken care of and that they have proper plans in place that will stand the test of time when you truly need it. And that's what our company is here about. So I'm so happy to be on this platform and to be able to share with your audience. Looking forward to your questions so that we can help bridge that knowledge gap and then empower people with tools to get themselves better protected.
Well, thank you for that presentation. The first question that comes to my mind is, you said that you're the founder. I'd like to know, when did you found it and what inspired you to do so?
Yeah, well, that's a fantastic question. Actually, the true answer is probably 13 years ago when my son, well, 12 years ago when my son was born.
Wow.
And I myself needed to get a plan in place. At the time, I don't know if any of your listeners are first-time parents, but you remember how it is when you have a child for the first time. Your head is spinning, and you don't know necessarily how to create a sound foundation for my child because I didn't grow up from wealth.
Uh-huh.
And so I chased that knowledge with the professionals that I thought would be able to assist me. And unfortunately, there's there are barriers in the wealth management space which prevents everyday folks from being able to access the services. So that happened to me. You know, the advisors asked, hey, do you have $250,000 to get the advice? And I said no, and they very politely, you know, but matter of factly told me, you know, they wouldn't be able to help. And so I chased financial knowledge, self-educating. And then as I was self-educating, I realized that there are a bunch of families just like mine who want good advice, but they don't necessarily qualify according to the traditional metrics, and would be very appreciative and be able to help their families better if they knew what to do with better guidance. And so that motivated me more than anything to, one, become a financial advisor and then create a company that, irrespective of who you are, what you come with, you can get good advice in an affordable fashion.
Well, I would say knowledge is power.
It's true. It's absolutely true.
Most people, when you
in our case,
mm-hmm.
in the case of our business, what you don't know can hurt you.
Exactly.
And not only hurt you, but hurt your family.
Right. Ignorance is not always bliss. It can be harmful. So, you know, when people think of trust babies, they think about rich people. Mm-hmm. But here in the Virgin Islands of the United States, we don't have a lot of millionaires. And we have people working hard, working for the government 20 years, and they want to see a better future for their children. So I think the idea of estate planning it's more about securing your prosperity for your future generation and ensuring that in a time of need, mournful time, it can be a smooth transition. You don't need to have additional grief when you fail to plan.
Mm-hmm.
You plan to fail, essentially.
It's absolutely true. You know, you hit the nail on the head. While the Virgin Islands, we might not have a lot of cash to throw around at things. However, we have a lot of property. Many of us might have a piece of land that was, you know, willed to us or left for us by a grandfather or an uncle or your mother. You might have worked hard all your life to get that you know, that home in Mandal or Chocolate Hole or wherever it is that you have your residence. And because it is so scarce, land in the Virgin Islands is premium. And so for you to actually accomplish that feat is amazing. But then the job isn't done there. Oftentimes we think the job is finished there. But that's not the case. You hit the nail on the head about passing that baton on to the next generation so that the advantage that you've created by having property, you can actually, you know, allow your family members after you to build on that, right? To build on the need that you've created, and you do that through proper estate planning. And that's, you know, but there are a lot of barriers. You mentioned one of them, the fact that we might believe that estate planning is a rich man's sport, mm-hmm. right? And that is very easy to believe because it's been very expensive to get estate planning services traditionally. And generally speaking, the people who are aware of it are the ones who are more wealthy. That's why it's so important for us to know first and foremost, and then for us to create accessible tools to help people install these types of solutions in their families' lives, so that that transition can be one that's smooth, one that avoids the common traps of probate and expensive legal and court processes all because we didn't put some,
Exactly.
intentional paperwork in place.
And confusion. Well,
Yeah, and conflict too. Like a
you-
lot of conflict.
I know. I could imagine. We here in the Virgin Islands of the United States, and there are four main islands. And I assume you grew up. And could you tell me which island you were born?
Actually, I am a Virgin Islander by choice. I grew up on the island of Barbados, actually, and 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 to be honest with you, it's not a lot different when it comes to this whole of epidemic failure to plan. A lot of us in Barbados, in the Caribbean in general, we don't have these plans in place, and it hurts our families.
Mm-hmm.
And a good piece of evidence to this is just by looking around, whether it's Christiansted, Fredericksted, Back Street in St. Thomas, or anywhere you see around the territory, you see a lot of derelict buildings,
Right.
abandoned homes. That is a symptom of the problem that we're talking about here, where we've worked hard to accomplish something great, and we didn't take the next step to protect it, and that's where Estate Shield comes in. And we've addressed all of the barriers that traditionally have prevented us from getting these plans in place. Barriers regarding knowledge, where we're always advocating, always teaching about estate planning. Barriers relating to cost. Not only do you have extremely affordable plans through Estate Shield, but you have installment options as well, so that you can protecting your family doesn't have to mean bursting a budget. Right?
Okay,
So we
that's
have these
excellent.
things in place to help our families get what we need in place. Another thing too that I wanted to mention here is that estate planning is not just a bunch of legal documents. Unfortunately, that are also a prevailing thought process, and once they have the legal documents in place, that's the end of it. No, unfortunately, that's not the case. Estate planning involves legal and financial matters that are extremely important, and that's why at Estate Shield we help you address both of those things at the same time in one affordable solution. Because estate planning, yes, you want your will, you want your trust, you want all the documents that we mentioned, but you also want to make sure that you have proper life insurance. You also want to make sure that there's a plan for your long-term care into the future. We also want to make sure that you have a sound plan for your retirement. And all of these things are essential to not only what happens after your path, but also what happens during your life. And we care
Right.
about both of those things. So with our solution, you get your estate plan in place. That's the standard of our service. And also you get a sound financial plan in place as well. Right? And who doesn't need that?
We all do. And as I mentioned earlier, this is the Virgin Islands of the United States. It's, have a multicultural community here, and I did detect an accent, but we all are one. If you call the Virgin Islands your home, you're a Virgin Islander. It's not that you have to be born here to be considered a Virgin Islander. You're here, and you have an investment here and want to see a better Virgin Islands. And so in a nutshell, you make it clear, why is it important for everyone, regardless of their socioeconomic status, to have an estate plan?
Yes, no, that's a fantastic question. And it all comes down to being able to protect who you love and what you've worked hard for, right? We spend our time, we spend every waking moment all about our family and all about the things that we want to create for their benefit. And so what an estate plan does is that it think of an estate plan as a blueprint. Just like a blueprint is important for the construction of a building,
Right.
an estate plan is important for the construction of your
talk a lot about generational wealth. Well, the estate plan and the financial plan are the building blocks for making that a reality, rather than just a social media meme or something popular to say. This is actually how you get it done. You work with with capable professionals to make sure that you're asking the right questions and you're getting the right answers and you're having the right documents in place, as well as the right financial tools in place to complement what's being put into the legal documents. Now, once that's done, you have yourself a plan, you have yourself the ability to be able to transition from one generation to the next in a way that alleviates a lot of the common pitfalls that our families, run into when you don't plan.
Mm-hmm. Is it important to have your own property, real estate property, or can you do an estate plan and not necessarily be a homeowner?
Right. That's a great question, because a lot of times I hear people say, "Well, I don't have me ain't got my estate, so why
Right.
am I getting an estate plan?"
Right.
Well, unfortunately, whether you have real estate or you don't, we are all gonna pass away at some
Right.
point in time, right? Rich or poor, there's certain things about life that are just going to happen. Real estate isn't important. However, it's one of many types of assets that we have. You have bank accounts, you have life insurance policy proceeds, you have retirement accounts, GIS, Social Security. You have a host of things that we own that cause problems if you don't plan for them when you pass away. So from the time you have an asset, something that you own, you have an estate, right? And as a result, we have to plan for it. Now, you've heard of people passing away and not having enough life insurance
Right.
to even bury them,
Exactly.
right? Having to run GoFundMe on Facebook so that they could get buried. Well, that's an example there of estate planning, and you don't have to be rich to fall into that, fall into that category. So, even beyond dollars and cents, part of your estate plan deals with what do you want to occur with your health care if you can't speak for yourself? Who do you want to run your finances if you can't do it yourself? Because let's say you're incapacitated, or you have Alzheimer's or dementia, or you're in an accident, you can't transact on your own behalf. All of these things are part of an estate plan, regardless if you have real estate or $1 million in the bank or not. We all need a plan. And when you do have a plan, you're setting up your family for organization, for precision, for coordination, for continuity, rather than chaos, which is what we generally see when we don't have these things in place.
Exactly. Well said. And I want to say to my audience, I met you at the Governor's 2025 Workforce Summit, and I was impressed with the presentation. And I believe in embracing the digital era. So one of the questions I have, I'd like you to answer, is how you believe the digital technology has impact our culture today.
Well, that's a great question. The truth is, it has impacted everything. It's changed the game.
Exactly.
Everything that we do, from how we relate to each other, how we transact with the government, how we transact with commerce, everything is affected by digital. It's become more instantaneous, more efficient, cheaper, right? But there's some downfalls as well. Right?
Yes, of
Whether
course.
it be cybersecurity,
Of course.
identity theft, all these things. There's always a good and a bad to things.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we can choose to put our heads in the sand and wish for the brighter days back in the past when things were much simpler, or we can embrace what we have and use it to our best advantage. And that's what we leaned into with Estate Shield. Because of all these barriers that prevented folks from getting estate planning in the past, what we realized is that this digital era that we're in can actually help us deliver more plans to folks in a cheaper way and in a way that is scalable, right? Meaning that you can serve a lot of people with the same level of service by leaning into our digital resources. And so we partnered, but in our formative years, we partnered with the RT Park, the University of Virgin Islands RT Park, which is a research and technology
Yes.
platform that enabled us to, one, get technical guidance on how to translate our knowledge about estate planning and financial planning into a digital tool that can serve a lot of people. And so we were able to do that. We used their incubator program, which is an initial program when you want to take an idea from a blank sheet of paper and put it into a digital product, whether it be a web application or a mobile application. We chose the route of a web application. And we placed around that web application, myestateShieldVI.com, we placed around that a network of seasoned professionals to connect with our users so that not only are you getting a digital experience, but you're also getting a human expert experience as well.
So was this an innovative idea? Or the others like this, a web experience with other estate planning companies? Or this something new?
Most estate planning companies do either or. They either have all human or all digital. And when you get this all digital, unfortunately, you don't get the advice and the customization that is necessary. Right? Because no one person's story is exactly the same as everybody else. So our plans need to look like our priorities.
Right.
At the same time, when it's all human, then you might not be as efficient as possible. So we blend both of those. So
you have
worlds.
a hybrid.
And we also blend the world of finance and legal as well. So that's also a very innovative aspect of our solution.
Great, because as I was talking to you earlier, time management is a big issue. And when you involve in the digital community, you can communicate to several people simultaneously. Whereas if you have a meeting with one-on-one basis, that's time. And I am so busy as a community activist. And I want to get involved as much as possible, but we have to rely on digital technology. So hence, I have a Facebook group entitled Virgin Islands Affairs Forum. Have you joined yet?
I don't believe I have. However, now that you put it on my radar, I will do so as soon as you get on.
I encourage you to join.
You can count on one more subscriber.
Okay, because this is a platform that allows you to immerse yourselves virtually into the political, historical, educational, cultural, and social affairs of the Virgin Islands of the United States, and enable people to present and promote anything relating to the Virgin Islands of the United States. So it's free promotion. You can put up your flyers in there. And I'm speaking to anyone who's interested. You could put up your flyers in there to promote business here in the Virgin Islands. So I would like to encourage you and others to join. And it's an interactive experience because they're able to ask you questions. You perhaps could schedule interview with those who may be interested in estate plan, which I hope is everybody. Everybody that breathes, that's living here, adult,
Yes.
could participate in this forum and to hopefully contact you regarding estate planning. So could you give out your contact information?
Yes, definitely. And I would like to echo what you just said. First of all, yes, I will happily join your group and provide as much value as possible to your members so that we can all get prepared. If you are listening to this broadcast and you've been thinking about your estate plan for a while and you know you haven't taken action on it, I want to encourage you to join our website. Go to our website, myestateShieldVI.com, myestateShieldVI.com. And you can go on there, start your reading, but in addition to that, there's a button that says schedule a free consultation. And that is very, very unique. Another one of our innovations. Usually you don't get consultations.
I can attest to that.
for,
Mhm.
for anything less than $300. So right off the bat, I'm going to give you $300. You're going to get a free consultation so that you can get a good sense as to how you can proceed with your estate plan based on your specific situation and your specific needs. Take advantage of that. You can also give me a call at 340-514-9506. And again, that's another way to get guidance on how to proceed with your estate plan. So take advantage of those.
Do you have a physical office?
Our office is in St. Thomas, and that office is just on Back Street, just across from the Virgilio's restaurant. However, most of our services are done virtually,
Right.
which means, again, we're leaning into the advantages of technology. So all of your consultations, all of whether it be with your financial advisors, with our legal advisors, all of that is done on virtually via Zoom. In addition to that, our online experience can be done, from the comfort of your home or your office, 3 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the
That's what
afternoon.
I'm talking about.
Whatsoever.
Yes, in this modern world, we're so busy and
Mhm.
time management is very important. So I appreciate that presentation.
Yes, absolutely. We know that everyone has busy schedules, so we want to make it as affordable, convenient, and holistic as we can possibly make this whole experience. But I want to leave with one thing, and it has to do with procrastination.
Oh yes, I'm guilty of that.
Well, if we're honest, all of us are, right? All of us are. There's something that we're procrastinating about. And there's somebody listening to this program right now that has had this topic on their mind for the longest time and they have not taken action yet. We're not here to beat up on you. We are simply here to give you an opportunity. Take the opportunity. Go on our website, myestateShieldVI.com. Give us a call at 340-514-9506 and simply take one step. Once you take that one step, we'll handle the rest from here. All right. Thank you so much, Freda.
Okay, thanks. Have a beautiful, blessed day.
You too. Take care.
Thank you. Okay, well, there you have it, the presentation by Steve Lowe of Estate Planning. Everyone, I urge you, regardless of your socioeconomic status, we all are here, present. Tomorrow is not promised. However, we can plan for a future. Don't delay. As soon as possible, make that call. Start, make a move. Talk is cheap. Just putting things off. I'm going to do it. I'm going to call. And it's important that you have a plan in place. We're not going to be here forever. Death is not planned. It's a reality. But life continues when we no longer here in the physical realm. So your legacy can forever be here. Leave your legacy. Leave a form of security for your future generation. Everybody has a mother or father. Not everybody has children, but we all have loved ones, whether related by blood or just by love. So we all can consider having an estate plan. So I urge you, and again, I encourage you to join my Facebook group, Virgin Islands Affairs Forum. At this time, if you wish to call in and the topics that have been discussed so far, you're welcome to do so. The numbers are 340-773-0390 and 340-773-0490. If interested in this event that's coming up at the agricultural fair this Sunday, again, you could also listen to this show. I had the first caller, calling guest, Ahmed, who spoke about the event. And it's an opportunity for us to ignite more love and unity amongst all of us here residing in Santa Cruz, which I call the most exquisite island paradise in the world, nicknamed the land of seven flags. We've been under many different nations. We're still a colony. However, we, the people, have a say in the future of the Virgin Islands of the United States. We help to shape our destiny. But participate, be involved, be engaged. Don't just complain. You're entitled to complain. Nothing wrong in complaining. That's our right as citizens of the United States. However, we can make a big difference. I'm going to put it out there again. I had this mentioned before on the program. I have a challenge. The U.S. Constitution has a preamble of 52 words. I would like to put out a challenge to you to create a preamble for our Constitution that is being drafted by the Sixth Constitutional Convention. A preamble with no more than 75 words in it. Preambles usually start with "We the people." We the people of the Virgin Islands of the United States, etc. You put in your thoughts on that. Find out more about constitutional development. Reading is fundamental. I suggest that you, whenever you get the opportunity, download the Simplify Revised Organic Act. Let me show it. I know it's going to come out like a mirror image, but let me show it here. And for those of you that's watching Facebook, Simplify Revised Organic Act of the Virgin Islands, 1954, Project Director, Malik Siku, PhD. This is a book that contains the political history, some aspects of it, some aspects of our culture and heritage in here. As I mentioned earlier, we are the Virgin Islands of the United States is an unincorporated territory. The official name is Virgin Islands of the United States. However, unofficially, everybody refers to it as the U.S. Virgin Islands because there's also the British Virgin Islands. We don't have our own constitution. We're being governed by a document called the Revised Organic Act of 1954. Get to understand what this document entails. And this book, downloaded in PDF form, it gave you a better understanding of how our government operates and why you should exercise your civic duty and be engaged in the political process to make the Virgin Islands of the United States a better place, so the U.S. Virgin Islands. We all can make a difference. It's multicultural here, it's very diverse, people of all backgrounds. But what we have in common is we're here residing, and our constitution should be for everybody that's calling the Virgin Islands home, all the people. But if we want a true reflection in a document that we could truly be proud of and call our constitution, you have to be part of that. It's not just delegates to the Sixth Constitutional Convention. We need our voices. We need everybody to be involved to make a difference in our destiny, our political destiny, and to be a part, actively engage on the path of self-determination. Self-determination is not just about making a choice of a political status. Currently, we have actually no permanent political status, as is in the defined in the Revised Organic Act of 1954. The U.S. Virgin Islands is an unincorporated territory of the United States. However, we can make changes to how we are governed. We have what is known as representative democracy. We elect senators to the VI legislature, which is a unicameral body. That means it's a single body. You don't have any two parts like the Congress. Congress is bicameral legislature. You have the Senate and you have the House of Representatives. We don't have that. We have 15 senators, 7 elected from each of the voting district, and 1 at large elected by both districts. The at-large senator must be a bona fide resident of St. John. Reading is fundamental. Read the Revised Organic Act will tell you clearly the at-large senator does not have to be born in St. John, does not have to be currently living in St. John. The at-large senator must have a bona fide residence in St. John. If you want to see changes to what's in the Revised Organic Act, we need to first have our own constitution. If we don't have our own constitution, you're not going to see, we can't make any amendments to the Revised Organic Act. So the most important reason I believe why we should have our own constitution is because we will have more self-autonomy. We will be on the path forward to self-determination. So how this could happen? If you don't vote, you can't ratify a constitution. And even if the rest of us who decide voting is important and participate in this process, it's not enough to truly reflect the entire population. The population of the U.S. Virgin Islands is about 100,000. Everybody could fit in the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. So why are we not showing more enthusiasm for us getting a constitution? Are you satisfied with continuing to be governed by the federal law, a document that we ourselves can't amend? Well, if you're not satisfied and you wish to make a difference, I urge you to get more involved, get engaged. My mission and passion is to educate, enlighten, and inspire minds. I want everyone that is eligible to vote here in the territory, please register to vote. Make a difference. Every 18-year-old, encourage an 18-year-old that you know to register to vote. Imagine what could become the Virgin Islands of the United States if you had every eligible voter participating in the process. Imagine. So that's what I like to do. I like to imagine a better future, but I like to use the presence to do more than talk, because actions speak louder than words. And I like to reflect on the past, what have brought us to this point. So once again, I urge you to join Virgin Islands Affairs Forum and listen to the recording of this show, which is being streamed on Facebook page, my Facebook page, as well as WSTX page. Listen, learn, love, and levitate. Thank you.